So you go over today's topic is on self care for the caregivers, and we're going to talk about nurturing the mind and body for healing and renewal. So, I do have a favor for those of you who don't know. We do have a sign-in sheet that's going around, and if you want to have either a mailed copy of the PowerPoint or an email copy of the PowerPoint, please put in either your email address or your mail address, and I do appreciate that. That'll get me to follow up what I need to follow up with all of you. So, I actually am a family consultant with the USC Family Caregiver Support Center. And we're also known as the LA Caregiver Resource Center amongst the California Caregiver Resource Centers. And the LA Caregiver Resource Center is part of the USC Family Caregiver Support Center that provides support services for family caregivers in Los Angeles County to help with the caregiving process. Support services include one-on-one consultation. So I'm a family consultant. I have clients that have I go through their caregiver journey. So when they do need someone to consult with, like what other resources that are available, what information to consider, what even just to talk it out with someone, I have clients that'll call me, or else we email and schedule a time to do a virtual conversation about what's the latest with their caregiving journey. Some of my clients have been with me for several years, and some are very new, and we start to develop that relationship over time. Um, well, I also facilitate support groups along with my other family consultant colleagues. I do a support group called Family Dynamics. And, when it comes down to caregiving, there are many family dynamics that come into play. Some are not so good, and some are good. And so, family caregivers talk about what happens with their relationships with their loved ones and how they can provide support for one another. Also, we do community education, such as this, and also trainings. Some of the caregiver trainings are evidence based, such as stress busting. So it's kind of in between a support group and education session. So it provides some connection with other family caregivers while you're learning about different aspects of caregiving. So this is what we do. And a caregiver is someone who helps out with any of the following tasks: preparing meals, bathing and getting dressed, getting in and out of bed for your family member, grocery shopping, cleaning the house, managing medications, paying household bills, getting to doctor's visits, and arranging and coordinating services. Any of you identify with any of these? All of them. If you identify at least one of them, then you're definitely doing some type of family caregiving, or at least caregiving. So you're in the right room. So, these are just some statistics that I brought of groups of family caregivers. With amongst cultural groups, the highest reported prevalence of caregiving is Hispanics, 21% from the 2015 National Alliance of Caregiving. And then the average age of caregivers, they're usually in the 40s to the 50s, and Hispanics being the youngest, 42.7 years of age as a caregiver. And so, okay, so it's interesting. The highest experience the cultural group that experience the highest burden and who provides more time in caregiving are Hispanic and African American.
Thank you.
And so that's definitely very very it's very taxing. Yeah. With the amount of time per week and it's high high levels of burdens, feelings of burdens. And then a lot of the caregivers in this particular survey, over half of the African American caregivers find themselves sandwiched between caregiving for an older person and a younger person, or else they're caregiving for two older persons. And so it's definitely taxing when you're doing the work of I would say multiple people, just a one person, right? So on we go with our self-care for the caregiver. Today we're going to talk about some of the challenges faced by caregivers. And all of you are caregivers, most of you I know. So you know some of the challenges. And then impacts of stressors in caregiving, mind, body, spirit connection, nurturing your mind, body, and spirit, and also introducing you to a couple of relaxation techniques. So that's what I hope to count accomplish by 2 o'clock. So let's okay. Some of the challenges faced by caregivers. I broke it down into 4 different categories. The physical aspects. What are some of the physical aspects of caregiving you identified with? Getting them up and down, transfers, right?
Wheelchair.
Yes, in and out of the car, from the wheelchair.
And when they have Alzheimer's, how you pronounce it when they have Alzheimer's, when they forgetful and things, it's kind of confusing. Alzheimer's.
Yes, it's a lot of like direction. Yeah. All right. So we do identify there's physical challenges. And when you do the physical assistance over time, it can also have effect on your own body too.
Right.
So you need to, consider, oh, this is going to be hard on my body over time. Okay. Also, there's that social aspect. The social aspect of the challenge. Because when you're caregiving, you're devoted to whoever you're caregiving for. What happens to your connections? Your social connections. They're on the back burner, less and less frequency, right? Yes.
You don't have too much social connection.
Yes.
Because you are taking care of a person.
Yep.
And that requires most of your time.
That's right.
Unless you have someone to step in for you to be able to socialize. That didn't happen with me.
That's a good thing if it didn't happen to you. And that's the thing.
I mean, I didn't have a social.
Oh, you didn't have any social life.
None at all.
Yes. Yes. It comes to less and less social life and more of just caregiving you and the person. Yeah. Yeah. And then also family don't come around as much, right?
No.
Yeah. There's work involved when they come visit, right? Yeah. Yeah, they don't necessarily like that.
Yes. Getting out from work themselves,
Yes, they also have their own livelihood too, right? Yeah. Emotional. How does it make you feel emotionally? Caregiving. Drained. Yeah, it takes a toll on our emotions. I'm sure it also takes a toll on the person you're caregiving for too, but yourself, really, it does. You sometimes feel that roller coaster. Yeah. And then financially. Financial is definitely a hard hit when you sometimes have to pay out of pocket for things, for the caregiving, things that make it a little bit easier. Yes. Yes, it takes a toll financially. So these are the big ones as far challenges. And with these challenges, it causes stress. So with stress, is stress good or is it bad? Okay. So I have here the impacts of stressors in caregiving. So when you first begin, you're like, yes, I can do this, right? So that motivates you in actually putting things in order, getting things in line, and it initiates movement towards your caregiving. And you come at this peak performance, you feel like, okay, I'm doing it well. But then over a long time, chronic condition of your family member, it takes a toll. Then you start feeling anxious and you become overwhelmed. And then it can lead to burnout, anxiety. And sometimes it says, I can't take it anymore. I want to give up. So, yeah. So, this is what happens. Of course, stress motivates you. It starts to get you to think about how do I accomplish this. But then over a long time, through this journey of a chronic condition, it takes a toll on the caregiver. Yeah, so we want to ID that. We don't want to just like press it down and say, no, I don't feel like that, because eventually you'll erupt like a volcano. It can be physical effect or else emotional effect or both. Yeah, so that's why it's important. We're going to talk about the mind, body, spirit. Finding that balance between mind, body, and spirit is self care for you. So, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And this is ideal. We have to, I would say, we all have to work on it. Some days are better than others, but at least working on keeping mindful of also looking after yourself as a caregiver. So these are some of the things that I've ID'd as nurturing your mind, body, and soul. And I'm going to be going over it, but prioritizing your self care, your number one. Practice mindfulness, some regular exercise, creating a support community for you. It doesn't have to be your biological family. It could be someone in your psychological family, your community. Feeding your mind with knowledge. Knowledge helps you understand what is going on. Fostering a positive mindset. Sometimes when you're dealing with stress, all you think about is all the negative things. And we forget about some of the positives. It may be small, but we need to ID that. Put it on the table. Take time for rest and relaxation. So I'm going to go over our first one, which is our number one, prioritizing self-care. First things first, to identify your personal barriers. Attitudes and beliefs from personal barriers that stand in the way of you caring for yourself. So, looking at removing some of those personal barriers to self-care. Do you think that you are being selfish because you're putting your needs first? No. Are you? Oh, good. I'm glad you're thinking that. But some of us don't think the same. So we're trying to get on, make sure that we think about what's holding us back. Are you afraid to think of your own needs? What is this fear about? Do you have trouble asking for what you need? Do you feel inadequate if you ask for help? Do you feel that you have to prove that you are worthy of the person you're caring for, of their affection? Do you do too much as a result of that? So looking within yourself, what may be some of the things that may be holding you back from self-care? Some of it may be due to cultural values that have been instilled in like families, and so looking really internally, and then removing those misconceptions, um, identifying that I am responsible for my parents' health, or I if I don't do it, then no one will. And so looking at like what are some of those misconceptions that you have? If I do it right, I will get love, attention, and respect I deserve. Our families always takes care of their own. I promised my father I will always take care of my mother. So some of those things are kind of in the back of our minds as we're caregiving for our family members. Also, removing negative self talk. Sometimes we come to a point where we're looking really down at ourselves. Our self esteem is affected over time. So sometimes we think, I am a total failure. I always mess up. I never do anything right. So looking at removing all the types of barriers that you may have internally. Moving forward is to change some of your behaviors. Moving forward one step at a time. It takes time because we need to make it a habit to look at ourselves and also look at how we can better care for, have compassion for ourselves too. Yeah. First things first is to set goals for self-care. Setting goal maybe is like to do something that you want to accomplish for self-care in about 3 to 6 months. And sometimes some ideas for family caregivers is looking at maybe taking a break from the caregiving, getting help with caregiver tasks like bathing and preparing meals, or engage in activities that will make you feel healthier. An example I have up here is to feel more healthy. So, some of the actions you might write down is to make an appointment for a physical checkup for yourself. Sometimes we forget about our own health. We coordinate all the medical appointments for our loved one, but we forget about ourselves, our own physical. Yeah. And then taking a half an hour break once during a week. Can you coordinate that? Is that realistic?
A couple more than one.
Yeah. Walk 3 times a week for 10 minutes. So looking at like doing something that you can realistically do to take care of yourself. It may be small steps at first, but it's a step forward. So setting a goal, and a lot of times I encourage family caregivers to write it down and post it like on a refrigerator, or else have it on your nightstand to kind of remind you this is what my aim is, and it helps you set new, I would say, new behaviors and practice in place for self-care. So practicing mindfulness. What's mindfulness? Do you know what mindfulness? Not reading this definition here. Mhm. Being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, what's around you, right? What you're experiencing without judgment. just paying attention to what you're feeling and what's around. So why is mindfulness good for us? Well, mindfulness can increase our self-awareness and improve our abilities to consciously make decisions that support our own values. Sometimes when we're not mindful, we're just in a rush, we're just responding immediately. We're responding to things that aren't we're not aware of how we're actually feeling. We're just emotional at that time. But thinking it through and being aware of how you feel on consciously making decisions. So some of the mindful exercises you can do daily is actually to take a few moments to learn to kind of feel how your breathing is. Is your breathing shallow? Are you breathing through your lungs only and not through your stomach area? The deep breaths do help with calming you down. And like being aware of how you're breathing and what's going on, what's going through your mind. Practicing eating and savoring the flavor of each bite in a meal. Like for instance, one example is, oh, I'm eating toast and it has jelly in it. What's the first thing that you feel when you're eating toast? Mhm. Is it dry? What's the sensation in your mouth? And then, as you chew, what do you feel? So you're consciously thinking about how does this make us feel, and you're really mindful of how the toast is and how you're responding to it.
So basically, you have to be present.
You have to be present, and also without judgment. Don't say, "Oh, this is unimportant. Why am I thinking this?" It's being more mindful of how you respond to things and how things are changing. Yeah. And it's really slowing your like you down as far as like with eating. Some of us eat really fast. We don't really think because we think we have no time. But then you don't feel anything. Sometimes I ask someone, "What did you eat?" They're like, "I don't know. I just ate something." Yes. So being mindful is being aware of what you're feeling, what you're eating, what is the sensation. Yeah. Does that make you feel good? Does that make you feel bad? Is it irritating? What does it make you feel? So being aware of how you respond. That's what being mindful is. And we talk about regular exercise for health, right? Exercise is a good tool to meet your body's needs at times of stress. So the benefits is better sleep. When you exercise in the evening, you're tired and you get better sleep. It reduces tension and depression because there's the dopamines that come into play that make you feel good after exercise. Also increases your energy and your alertness. And it also partly restores endurance, balance, strength, and flexibility. But I must say, if you have any health problems, before doing like new exercise routines, please consult your doctor to see if it's something that you can do and it doesn't injure you. Yeah. And almost any kind of exercise will work. Pick an exercise that fits your life. You know, some of the caregivers that come up with their action plans to take care of themselves in class, they identify cleaning house. And not everyone really thinks cleaning house is an exercise and that they want to do. Yeah, but it's all a matter of what you think is helpful for you. Even gardening is a form of exercise. Yeah. So it's not necessarily like running. I actually walk instead of running. It's hard on the joints when you're running. Yeah. So look at what best fits you and that you will enjoy. Um, Try to schedule regular exercise at least 30 minutes 3 times a week. And it doesn't have to be a full 30 minutes. Some of us don't even have like 30 minutes to spare. And so, all in one shot. So, looking at some caregivers do exercise the first, 15 minutes the first part of the day, and maybe 15 minutes during the later part of the day, or else they're watching TV and they're looking at commercials. They do exercise or pacing around the sofa. So yeah, looking at like incorporating a little bit of exercise during that day, during the week. And don't think of it as, oh, I need to go to the gym for 1 hour. Yeah, because being a caregiver, you don't have most of you, and I would say do not have of that kind of time and that ability to have undivided time at a gym. Yeah. Okay. We talked about creating a support community. The support community are people or groups of people who can provide support for you. They can provide physical and or emotional stresses of caregiving. They provide knowledge, experience, and skills to help solve care related issues. And they also provide opportunity for encouragement for you in challenging times. So, what are some of the family or what are some of the let's say community members that you can think of besides any one of these, or if any one of these surprises you? I have beauticians, masseuses, neighbors, church faith-based organizations, any, and there may be more. Anyone have additional ones that they can think of? Kids, yes. Family. Hmm. Oh yes, pets are very good for support. Yes. Anyone else? Yes, healthcare providers, church members, hmm support groups. Any of you go to support group or participate in a support group? Great. They do, yeah, support groups actually build your community within the group, and you provide, because we are all caregivers, they provide not just emotional support but like tips. Sometimes I have caregivers in my support group that may be in a different phase of caregiving or a different part of their journey in caregiving than another, but they hear what other people say, and when it's their turn, they think about and reflect about what was said, and they thought, oh yeah, I remember so and so said this, maybe I can give this a try. So providing that support, and then what I find is you start building on that connection with others outside and that have an understanding of what's going on other than family. Because sometimes I find that, especially of your care receiver, your family member, attend workshops or support groups, not just for emotional support, but also learning caregiver strategies, getting tips to make it easier, and connecting with community resources and use them. As a family consultant, I not just only provide just information and resources. I provide support where it needs, like for instance, you may need emotional support or you may need a resource for emotional support. So providing education is one of the things that I do, and information, and it helps the caregiver feed their mind and get more knowledgeable. What's out there? What other things can I learn more about so that it can better support my position as a caregiver? Okay, fostering a positive mindset. You know, a positive mindset is being realistic, not just looking through colored glasses, not being overly optimistic. It's trying to see a glass half full versus half empty. And it builds, seeing it this way builds resilience to bounce back from things that are hard. A positive mindset provides courage to address the problem and to take action. It builds resilience, kind of like the basketball, to adjust, they bounce back and adjust. And motivation to reach out to others to seek options and solutions. To change your mindset is trying to practice positive self-talk. Have any of you heard of positive self-talk? Mm-hmm. And so, just knowing that I am doing the best I can, and that's just enough. The affirmation, I have the courage and I can overcome the challenge that come my way. A positive mindset does take time. Yes. A positive mindset takes time and effort to change, and it takes a lot of practice. And some of the caregivers start by doing maybe like a gratitude journal. Have you heard of a gratitude journal? Do any of you do something like that? Do? How long have you been doing the gratitude journal? You wrote a book! Oh, great! So you really are. Yeah. It helps changing your perspective of things.
And the book came about by making affirmations daily in my life. And when I started becoming a caregiver for my auntie, I realized that these affirmation writing, they kind of they helped me a lot.
Yes.
So I thought I'd put them all together and put them in a book.
That's really good. So others can actually see that it does help them and you. Yeah. And as for you, Yolanda, how long have you been? 2 years. Have you found it to be helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
I have affirmations that I listen to every morning. Some for the morning and some for the evening before you go to bed.
Great. Yeah. And you too.
Yeah, I was going to say, what helps me with a positive mindset, I usually start the morning with a scripture. My phone, I usually go directly to a Bible setting, and it gives me a daily scripture, and that usually helps too.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. It helps get you through some tough times, and it just builds resilience in you. And sometimes caregivers, they don't know how much they have gone until they look at like some of the positives that have come. Some of the things that they learned would have never happened if they weren't caregiving. Yeah. So I hope that you all will, for those of you who have started, continue to do that and to try at least maybe like not every day, but maybe like 3 times a week, just to start thinking of doing some more of that mindfulness, positive self-talk. Yeah. And then most important is take time for rest and relaxation. I know we don't have enough time to do that all the time. But it's good to schedule some regular downtime. Some of the caregivers that have gone through some of the stress management classes that we have, the evidence-based ones, is actually incorporating some form of like perhaps meditation or doing some time to just kind of take your mind away from everything. Sometimes it's early in the morning before all the responsibilities of caregiving starts. You have a cup of coffee and then perhaps like listening to music or something that's enjoyable for you. And it gives you that set mindset. And at the end of the day, before you go lay down, is looking at perhaps doing some meditation. If you can get away, like for a leisure walk in nature, that will be great. Weekend getaway would be very ideal. Taking a nap. I know when I first started being a mother, my mom, the first advice is, when your baby goes to sleep, you go to sleep too. Yeah, yeah. So at first I thought, but I want to do laundry. And I have all kinds of things that I can do when she's sleeping. But then I found that my immune system was weakened because I didn't take that rest. So looking at like also taking a little bit of a nap if you feel like you can take a nap at that time and that you really do need it. Listening to music. Music tends to, if you listen to music that fits your mood and your feeling, your emotion, it can actually help elevate your emotions, or else to take you away from what you're feeling and transition into a different mood and emotion. So rest and relaxation is important. It's vital to maintain your overall well-being. So I know that it is hard to take time for that, but I hope that it will you can make a goal of like taking some part of your day. So I'm going to introduce meditation as a form of relaxation technique. Meditation is focusing your mind often on a specific object, sound, or thought to increase awareness of the present moment. So the benefits of meditation include stress reduction, improves focus, emotional balance. It provides emotional balance, your sense of calmness, and inner peace. It's an effective tool for coping and promoting overall wellness. Do any of you practice any meditation? Okay. Is um is the meditation guided, or is it something that you do of your own?
Do it on my own, but I learned transcendental meditation long ago.
Okay.
That's what I use.
That's good. Everybody has a different way, practice that they can do for meditation. And yourself?
I use Calm.
Calm.
On a daily basis.
Great. That little app. Yeah. They also have videos on YouTube too. Yeah, that's become very helpful. And so, I know for myself, self-meditation, my mind is not disciplined enough to do that. It takes a lot of practice. Yeah. I prefer guided type of meditation, so different type of meditation. So find what works for you, but it does take your mind away. So I'm gonna try this exercise. The PMR is for stress relief. It reduces anxiety. Also for pain management, increases your bodily awareness, relieves muscle tension. It improves sleep and improves mood. So this one is a short exercise, but there are longer ones. But because of time, I only found one that's about 5 minutes. Oh yeah, that also is a stress relief ball, and you tense your grip and then you release.
The tennis ball will work too.
Tennis ball will work too. So this is actually just having you consciously tense your muscles, certain body groups, and then relax them. So we're gonna try this exercise and see how you feel. Do you want the lights turned down?
That always make it.
Okay. The 2 exercises let you relax a little bit before you head out there.
We're very positive.
Yes. Thank you everyone for
Thank you.
participating. If you have any questions, I'm here to stay. There are tables that are out there for information, resources. We have a table out there, so please head out and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. You're welcome. And
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, where's the sign-in sheet?